Side-scrolling beat-em-up mayhem inspired by games from the 90s sounds like a blast. But how does this game perform? I Am the Hero has just been released on the Nintendo Switch. I'm James and this is SwitchWatch. Let's jump in and find out if this one lives up to our expectations. Normally we bundle visuals and performance together later on in our reviews, but on this occasion I've split them out and have brought the performance section forward. This is sadly because right now the game has some major issues that cannot be ignored. When playing multiplayer, there is a game breaking bug where when facing a boss, one of you will drop through the floor and cannot come back. As the enemies scale according to how many players you have, it becomes extremely difficult to get past this point. It's a shame, and we have contacted the developer and they are working on recreating the bug and issuing a fix. Another crippling issue is slowdown when you are in multiplayer with a lot going on. Some of the visuals are excellent but presumably resource intensive and coded in such a way that leads to slowdown. We are not talking a slight change here, but a snail-like pace that renders the fun factor obsolete. We have hopes that the game fixes these issues, but right now we have to factor these into our review. Beat 'em up games hold a special place in my memory. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, a wave of classic games came out. Goldenaxe, Double Dragon and Streets of Rage. Me and Juan used to pretend to be asleep, then boot up our Mega Drive and thrash out Streets of Rage 2. Inevitably, we made way too much noise and ended up getting caught, but did it again and again. Such was the pull of these classics, and this is what the developer, Crazy Ant, is aiming to recreate. As far as the story goes, there is a very loose thread. You play as a mysterious hero, and as you progress you are presented with some, let's be honest, poorly translated dialogue. In all honesty, after the first few scenes of text I began to skip them. Thankfully, you can as well. I Am the Hero takes the classic recipe of side-scrolling levels and frantic fighting. You progress across the screen either alone or with up to 2 friends in local co-op across a campaign that spans 5 levels. You have a punch, kick and charge attack that can string these together in multiple ways to perform awesome combos that are reminiscent of Street Fighter, which is a great addition to the otherwise standard button bashing, thumb-numbing fare on offer. As you punch, kick and generally abuse opponents, your combo meter fills. Once a bar of combo meter is full, you can perform a special attack that will hurt opponents badly. One of the things I really like about this game is the ability to gain new special skills and playable characters. At the end of each level, you'll be able to choose one or the other. The characters you unlock mix up the gameplay a little bit, but I did find I didn't stick with them, instead preferring the main titular hero. At the end of each level you face off against the boss. This is the type of game where enemies have large health bars and you need to pin them down and pound them into the ground, and this is epitomised in boss battles. The game's difficulty ramps up rather nicely and some of the later bosses can do a number on you. The downside here is it can be a bit of a drag after a while, a side effect of predictable AI and large health. At any point a friend can jump in arcade style, and this is a nice touch. It's a personal bugbear of mine when a game makes it difficult to add friends. With friends, the combat becomes more frantic. You can combine punches and kicks with different directions, and knocking enemies up lets you follow them into the air and bash them. This can lead to some mega combos in the 300 hit plus range. Unfortunately, there is no reward for doing a big combo. It would have been nice to regain some health, earn some unlockables, or just acknowledge this effort with maybe leaderboards or something else. When you hook up with friends, there is a major drawback: bugs and slowdown, which we already talked about, and unfortunately at times the slowdown can make the multiplayer experience not enjoyable. Outside of these issues, I found that the general single player experience is pretty fun, especially at first, but the gameplay does become repetitive with no new mechanics added down the line.
If you're going to create a retro game, then you need to bring that upbeat soundtrack, and here I Am the Hero delivers with a high tempo electronic set of tunes that have a hint of the old school but are certainly quite modern. These electronic tones are mixed with rock, and overall effect is high pace, which is right for a beat 'em up. A couple of the songs lean on the side of being a bit intense, perhaps overly so, but overall the music works. The sound effects are equally decent, and the main thing that could have added here is a voiceover, which of course would have been expensive and was probably not feasible on the dev's budget. In terms of visuals, what the developer has done here is combine a 2D side-scrolling with 3D elements in a clever way. The result is a pixel art style that has more depth than many of the games that inspired it, and I think it works rather well. Some people are of course fed up of pixel art. It's fair to say that it currently dominates indie titles on the Switch, but I personally really like the combination here. Cars come screaming across the screen and angles are used cleverly to add depth. Special moves especially look great and are a treat on the eyes. Where the game does fall down slightly on the visuals though is the lack of stage variety. I found that there wasn't enough different stuff to look at, and similarly many enemies are repeated throughout the game. James is going to take you on to value and the verdict.
At $7.99 in the US, the game is priced fairly. Unfortunately, performance issues take what would be a fun multiplayer game and essentially only allow you to play alone in any sort of fun fashion. If these issues are fixed, then what we have is a compelling price point, but right now, I cannot say it's worth it. Overall, I Am the Hero takes a tried and tested recipe of beat 'em up side scrolling and throws in combos and multiplayer mayhem. The gameplay does become repetitive, but it does its job rather well. Unfortunately, performance issues make this a game that I just cannot recommend anyone purchase right now. If they do fix these issues, then it's a well-priced, half-decent beat 'em up. Overall then, for now, this one is a 5 out of 10. Next up is Jordan's review of the survival game Ark. If you did enjoy this review, then I'd love it if you subscribed, and you will get more content like this delivered straight to you. Leave me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts, whether you're going to pick this one up or not. I'm James Zamera and this is SwitchWatch. I'll see you on the next one.